Hey guys, welcome back to Raven Wing Gaming, and today I'm coming at you with a ranked match actually. I'm gonna show you one of my preferred methods for ranking up if I'm just, I'm not awake yet or I'm not wanting to frustrate myself by dying straight off the path. I'm already getting tactical budget keyed advice apparently. My parakeet bean apparently has a lot to say. But this is one of my favorite ways to rank up. Now, I'm pretty sure some of you have heard of him before, but there is a guy called Bushcamp Dad. And while I'm pretty sure a couple of you guys have heard him before, he's actually got a decent method for ranking up for those who aren't the greatest when it comes to combat. Now, the area I'm going to show you might confuse you at first, but then once you see what I'm talking about, you'll understand. So, you see how the Metrodome has, like, an area where there's a bridge that goes across the river here, right? Where we're going to be heading to is right to the right of that bridge, where there's a set of stairs that'll go down and left. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second once we actually get into it. Don't forget to thank the bus driver as always. Now try to pay attention to the route I take. You don't have to follow this exact path, but this is the one I just prefer to take. So what you do is you'll grab at least one gun so you have at least something to defend yourself with. Grab some tools, shield up a little bit maybe. And then what I'll do is I'll actually toss this away to avoid drawing attention. Now, you'll want to vault over this section right here. And you're going to want to drop down here. Now, notice we're underneath the bridge here. There'll be a line to your right, so you see on the map where I'm at, but I'm underneath the bridge and the pipeline here. There's a barrel right here that always spawns here, fishing rod, and there's always, at least what I think always, is a produce box here as well. What you do is you open this up and you grab one of the fishing rods. Granted, yes, one will fall down and roll away with the river. Anywhere between 2 to 3 can spawn enemies. What you're going to do is hop on top of the fishing barrel, go through here, and as long as you have a dark skin, and I don't mean that like in the way that it sounds, if you have a dark colored skin, like I do, it's more like what I call tactical. I'm going to go ahead and move these items away here, but you can basically take this fishing rod and use this to your advantage here. And you can just scoot underneath here, and all you gotta do is basically just sit here and just fish. Now, if anyone pops up, what you'll do is you'll swap to your weapon, which will pull the fishing rod back and not make any noise, because if I'm not mistaken, fishing will make noise. But what I do is I can just do this. I mean, granted, I have the combat ability. I don't necessarily suck, but I wouldn't consider myself one of the best players in the world. Definitely not MVP, definitely not national championship. Trying to train there, but that's point aside. So what you can do is you can stand on top of this rock, aim the fishing pole in here, and see, we got a, oh, I dropped it, but you see we can get a bunch of, like, small fry fish, essentially. And what you can do is, like, you can just do this, kind of hang out underneath the bridge, if I can stop dropping the damn fish. But you can just, like, hang out underneath the fish. You know, make sure you have your visuals on so you can see if anyone's approaching you before you actually hear them. Try to see if you can go for floppers, but it's not a requirement. But basically being able to just sit here and just, like, fish the whole game is a lot more, in my opinion, at times a lot more relaxing. Yes, I imagine some might be like telling me like just go play Lego Fortnite. I personally don't like anything Lego, but you know, you get the idea. So if your combat skills aren't the greatest, you can just sit here and keep fishing, basically. Now, see how those footsteps just popped up? This is when I'd advise you to basically just kind of stop fishing for a second, kind of move off to the side, and just kind of chill here for a minute, and basically wait for the combat to pass. See how they're moving through here? Now you see them. You want to be careful of things like that, and always kind of pay attention to your surroundings while you're doing this, because you don't want to basically give yourself away in that regard. I mean, being able to collect fish and all that's great, but like if you're gonna wind up dying as a result, it's not worth it. Now, what you can do with this, while I'm showing you guys this, the small fry fish are good for getting your health up to 75 and then follow it up with the flopper to get you all the way up to 100. This is good for basically carrying you up until the point of dying to the storm. And so if you basically never want to engage in combat, this is a good way of doing it. See, even just a short time of recording this video, it's already down to 37 players. So it's like we already got like really nothing to worry about in terms of this. Now notice I got no kills. I haven't moved. You know, I haven't really done anything. I've gotten to matches where I'm like the last match I tried this on. This is basically like my ranked method, like easy rank up method, slash what I normally do if I'm trying to basically score for points in a tournament. And normally you should be trying to score for position in a tournament too. Small fries stack up to 6 in the slot, and floppers will stack up to 4. If I'm not mistaken, shieldfish as well. You will occasionally get a shieldfish. It's not common, but you will occasionally get one. The best thing to do, honestly, is crouch if you're going to move, because that makes it to where you don't pop up on visuals, but you can sit here and just, like, constantly farm up the fish all the time. Now, see, I probably shouldn't have pulled that fish in while that person was above me. See, now I got to be careful and basically hide. See how they're straight and long there? You got to be careful of things like that, because that can actually give you away. So what I like to do normally is I'll put like my floppers over here in the corner and grab all these small fry, basically like lessen my presence, and I'll wait for about roughly 10 seconds, kind of checking my surroundings here. Now you might be asking me, well, why is it you want to go for basically a dark colored like skin here, like one that's kind of more camouflage? Well, the reason is tactics. Because here's the thing. If I go, well, I think the skin is awesome. If I go for basically the glowing demon horn looking dude, I'm going to be very easily seen in dark environments. Whereas this one, granted, I understand there are some people who don't play with the shadows on, but you can actually take advantage of the situation here and play more to the shadows. Basically be more opportunistic, a little less, you know, a little less basically sitting here constantly, you know, glowing, basically being an easy sitting target. Rather than doing that, you can sit here and basically fish your entire time. And it's not too crazy. I mean, we're already down to 26 players. I just said like there was 37 like just a couple seconds ago. See, you already got a pescatarian, you know, accolade. So if you're trying to get a bunch of those, it's a fantastic way to do it. You want to try to see if you can make sure you can like catch your fish in a way to where it's not gonna slide off there, because like the fish just kind of floating down the river can be a little sus to someone who's down there. See, it's also kind of random where it lands, but like if you have small fries in your inventory, like I do right here in my 5 slot, you can just, you know, be really careful with it. Now see how there's footsteps above me? You'll get that quite often, and you got to be careful with that, because you can't let that just intimidate you, and then all of a sudden you're like panicking, trying to shoot it basically above them, because then that's just going to give you away. So you don't want to do that. What you do is you'll grab your floppers and all that, and you'll basically just keep stacking in the corner here. If they're all stacked in one pile, they're going to be less likely to be seen. Now, best bet is if you have a skin that's solid blackout with no glowing bits, that's the best thing you can pick. But like the guy I got here, he's got like gator skin. He's got like he's got like woodland camouflage, or he's like a swamp guy. Basically, I think he is. But he's like, it's a good camouflage set because like at least for season 5, chapter 3, it's a pretty good pick because like there's a fair bit of shrubbery around here, and you're in the shadows, so it's kind of playing into a blend of both. Now, do you have to sit here and do this the entire time? No, honestly you don't. But you can sit here and do this, and it's a nice, easy way to sit here and get ranked. Now, to spare you guys a bit of time here, I will be skipping ahead from this point here forward, just to kind of show you the results I get after the fact. You can see whether or not you can do this or not. And again, if you're curious as to, after I show you the part of the map again, if you're curious as to where this is at, this is basically like you'll go right here where this marker's at, and then you'll just move past the steps, and then just gotta drop down here to move forward after you grab the fishing pole. And you can basically just sit here the entire time and just catch fish. And I'll go ahead and show you what the match results will be like here in just a second. Alright, so we wind up getting 3rd place, but we also engaged in a little bit of combat and didn't die to a player. Now that will affect the results, but just doing that alone got us 8%. Now, that's not too bad. So just something to keep in mind. Again, method may not be for everybody, but at least that's one area I like to be at personally. Of course, with it being a thing, if the video does take off, it will be a case of there's probably going to be a lot of people going there now. But nothing else, it's at least a good spot to like stack up on health for like you and your buddies and not really have much of interference, because I'll be honest, not many people look there. And if you can get a bunker and you can aim it right, you can basically just set up a bunker and just be there and be just fine and not really attract any attention. So, yeah, that's pretty much the extent of that one. I am going to get on to making another video, but I just figured I'd tell you guys about that one in case some of you want to have an easier time ranking up and you're extremely frustrated because you want to hit that unreal, but you don't feel like you have the personal skill to basically, or you just don't have the reaction time to be able to make it there, but you always wanted to make it there. Well, now you have an effective method. So if you can, share this around, like, favorite, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.